see Florida take it. I mean, the history's already there when it comes to, like, both teams are going for that first cup. Like, that's such a huge thing as is. Okay. Did I just lose my zoom roll? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Pokemon Volt White Randomized Mastermode. In the previous episode, I believe we just did a whole bunch of battling. That's pretty much all I can remember us doing. But yeah, in this episode, we are probably... This is a very big probably. We're probably going to be taking on the gym, potentially. Well, at least get to the gym, I would think, today. And let me not get too far ahead of myself, because I do have to spin my wheel here. Let's not make the mistake that I did in the previous episode. No fly? That's easy. That's easy. I don't have the ability to use fly. Or at least I don't think so yet. I don't think we get access to using fly until we beat Clay. So yeah, this is an easy challenge for us. But I did go ahead and do a little bit of research based on what level Elisa's ace is going to be. 38 is the level of her ace. So it's going to be level 38 Zeep Strika, which I think will be dealable. I tried to keep spoilers away from me as best I could. I do know that she has a Galvantula and that she has a Ampharos, and she'll have the Zeep Strike as well. I would not rule out her having a Emolga, a Manectric, all those things are pretty scary. All those things are pretty scary, so just making sure I am smart about what I choose to do with my turn. If I had to guess, the Galvantula is going to have Energy Ball or something that could kill a Pupitar or a ground type in one hit. Something along those lines. I do not rule that out at all. So we're going to do our best to level up our team. I mean, there's not a whole lot of trainers we have left to fight. We do have the end battle. And I think that's pretty much it outside of gym trainers. I could take this episode to try and get some Audino experience, but the problem is that I feel like with Audinos, they don't spawn that often because the stuff in the shaking grass is actually like pretty strong. So I'm a little bit indifferent on whether or not I do something like that. Dark Pulse, nah. Keep the moves that we have. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about taking on the gym, especially because we could potentially be doing that today. and I'm not sure if I'm going to be ready for it if we do end up doing it today. But the best thing we can do is hope and pray that our team is solid enough. I mean, it's a pretty good team. I mean, I'd imagine Cobalion could put in a decent amount of work. I do worry if there is a Manectric. It is carrying Flamethrower, so if that does happen to be the case, I don't see myself using Cobalion against it. Now, if I have Swords Dance up or whatever, I would be willing to take that risk. But then again, I don't have as good a special defense on Cobalion. I don't think it's terrible. But it's not good. For level 34, it's 64. My defense is double that. I don't know. I don't want to get too worried about it. Just, control what I can control. Like I said, I'm being smart by leaving the slow poke in the PC as it is. So as long as I have that on the back burner, I just don't want to deal with a silly death, I think, is my thing. I don't want my team to get completely ran through because of silly deaths. I think that's the thing I'm scared of the most by going into this battle. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm not afraid to sit here and grind for a little bit. I can eat up as much time as I possibly can. That does run a pretty big risk, though, because that could mean my chances of beating the gym are shafted. Like, who's to say I'll get a good challenge to beat the gym like this? You don't know. You don't know those things until later, really. But we'll be optimistic about it. I'm kind of optimistic about it already, so if I'm optimistic about it, everybody should be optimistic about it. Alright. Print Flop. I wish we had Swords Dance on our Cobalion, because then I would not care about anything. I would set up a Swords Dance against that Galvantula, and I would just go until I can't anymore. Everything the fuck out of my way. But yeah, I think this is the last trainer we can fight before the amusement park. At the day I'm recording this, I just got done watching Stanley Cup playoffs. Because I'm a big hockey person. If you couldn't figure out from my personality and a lot of the stuff that I wear, or a lot of things I reference, whatnot, I'm a big hockey person. So I just got done watching, was it Game 4 of the Stanley Cup playoffs between the Panthers and the Golden Knights? And let me tell you, playoff sports is like one of my favorite things ever. I think it's because of the stakes behind it. Like, I don't wish for, like, I guess there is a point where I do wish somebody loses. Like, if like someone's there every single year, then yeah, you don't want to see him in the playoffs. It's one of the main reasons why a lot of people don't like Tom Brady, because he's, I mean, undoubtedly one of the greatest players of all time. Definitely is going to be the greatest quarterback of all time if we're looking in terms of championships. That record is not going to get touched. I refuse to believe that record will ever be touched by any player. 7 rings, not going to happen. they'd have to cut the league in half for that record, I feel like, to be broken ever again. And I don't want that to be the case. But no, just playoff sports is one of the things that I love to watch. Hockey, I've always been really, really big on it. I mean, the playoffs start like mid to late April, and then they carry into about the middle of June. And I'm telling you, there's nothing better, to me at least, than watching and see the stories of like playoff runs and whatnot. And this actually can be compared to the NBA playoffs because NHL and NBA seasons are pretty much the exact same for the most part, except for NBA. They do play-in rounds, which I would honestly love to watch play-in rounds for the NHL. I think that would be kind of cool. But I guess if you have a winning formula, you don't have to change things up. But yeah, I got done watching the playoffs, and this is Florida and Vegas. Both teams have never won the Stanley Cup before. This is Vegas's first Cup final appearance since 2018, which is actually, if you don't follow hockey at all, the Golden Knights franchise was actually like established in 2017. So the 2017-2018 season was the first season that they were officially like in the league, and they went to the Stanley Cup Finals. They didn't win it, obviously, because like I said, this is the first like neither team has won the cup before, so it's a pretty good narrative to have for your Stanley Cup final. And this is Florida's first Stanley Cup final appearance since 1996. And it's actually kind of interesting too because I believe the narrative, or at least what history says, is that they didn't win a single playoff game the first time they were in the Cup Finals. So they got swept, which doesn't happen often. I don't think I've seen a Stanley Cup final where it was a sweep. And that's a good thing because you don't ever want that, because I think as like a sports fan, you want it to be super duper competitive. Obviously, if it's your favorite team, you're gonna want them to win. You're gonna want them to win as quickly as possible. But since I'm not really a big fan of either team, I mean, I have a Vegas Golden Knights like quarter zip, but that's because I got it when I was that's because I got it when I went to Vegas last summer, and I thought it was really, really cool. So, I mean, thing is, right, is I think I want Florida to win. I want Florida to win the cup because they've had the harder journey in the playoffs because they made it in as a wild card 2 team, which if you want to compare it to the NBA playoffs, is like an 8th seed making it to the finals. So they played literally all the toughest teams possible in the Eastern Conference to get to the cup. So they played Boston, who was just coming off the best regular season record in NHL history, and Florida was down in that series 3-1 because it's a best of 7 series, and came back and won the series. So that right there shows that like they deserved it. And then it's like, all right, they're not going to make it through the next round, which they played Toronto. Now, Toronto in hockey is kind of seen as a meme because they didn't win. Like, they made the playoffs every, like, what felt like most years, but they could never make it through round one. And then this year, they made it through round one for the first time since 2004, I believe. So they made it to the second round for the first time since 2004, and they got absolutely manhandled in 5 games from the Panthers. Again, Toronto was a number 2 seed. They were a number 2 seed, and the Panthers were basically an 8th seed. And they lost in 5 games to them. Then you have Carolina, who would be... They were first in their division, which I believe is the Metropolitan Division. So they're a number 1 seed in that division, whereas Florida is still that number 8 seed. But Carolina was more like, if you wanted to take all teams in the Eastern Conference, it probably would have been like Florida played number 1, the first seed first. Then they played like seed 3. And then they played seed 2. So they're an 8 seed team, and they played the top 3 seeds in their conference, beat Boston in 7 games, beat Toronto in 5, and then they swept Carolina. Swept. Like, you can't tell me that's not a insane thing to witness, especially as me as a hockey fan. Like, oh, it's great. It's absolutely great. But they're down 3-1 in the series against Vegas, which I believe there was a statistic. So if you took all the teams in the league from this regular season, Florida finished 17th out of 32. They were the last team that snuck into that playoffs. And in their 4 series, because there's 4 series if you win the Stanley Cup, or if you get to the final, I should say, you play 4 series. So in the 4 series they played 4 of the top 5 teams with like the best finishing records in the regular season. So, I mean, they were down 3-1 against Boston, the so-called Cup favorites. So, no, it'll be interesting to see. I'm really hoping they pull it off, but I would love to see it, even if they get to Game 7. But I don't know, man. If they make it to Game 7, I'd be so happy if they just took it. Because I think Vegas will be back. I mean, this is their second Cup final appearance in 6 years. Like, they'll definitely be back. They're way too good of a team. Whereas Florida last year was the President's Trophy winners, so that's the team that finishes with the most regular season points. So they were really good last year, like regular season wise. They made it through the first round last year, but then lost in the second round to Tampa. But this year, like I said, they finished 17th overall. They were basically an 8th seed in the playoffs on the Eastern Conference side of things. So, and they're playing the number 1 seed in the Western Conference final. And that's not to say that Vegas's path was completely easy. They didn't sweep anybody. But when I was like predicting who I think would make it out of the like the final, I honestly thought it was going to be Vegas and Boston. I had Vegas going all the way. Because really the only other team in the West I could have seen Edmonton, maybe, just because they have a couple studs on that team, but their depth is not that good, which is why they don't make it far in the playoffs at all. Which, it sucks to say that, but it's the truth. I do not like the situation I find myself in currently, so I'm going to swap out. I really hope whatever grass move this Maractus goes for does not hurt me that much. But yeah, I don't know. I would like to see Florida take it. I mean, the history is already there when it comes to, like, both teams are going for that first cup. Like, that's such a huge thing as is. Okay. Did I just lose my Azumarill? No. I'm gonna Ice Punch this Maractus. I want to say I'll outspeed. I need to go buy Hyper Potions before I go fight Elisa. I don't think we're hitting the gym today. I think this battle is gonna eat up the rest of our time. Which, to be honest, let it. Let it. I get an easy reward from today anyways. So I can Ice Punch this thing. I'm staying tuned in, which isn't great, but I kill this thing in one hit. I think that saves me a headache. Alright, you go for Dig. Dig is better or stronger in this, so we need to be careful there. Golett. Honestly, I'm gonna Defense Curl here, and then I want to say a Dark Pulse could kill Golett in one hit. Yes, it in fact does. But anyways, going back to the like playoff sports thing. Like, both teams are fighting for the cup, which for their first cup, which I believe they said this is the 6th time in Stanley Cup final history that the Stanley Cup final is coming down between two teams who have never won the cup before, which, especially in this day and age, with the league being around for a long ass time, that's such a cool, like, that's such a cool thing. That's such a cool thing. Especially because I think the final 4 teams of the playoffs this year were all from the South. And I know Vegas is more West, but it's labeled as the Southwest. So 4 teams, the final 4 teams were all teams that are in the South, because Carolina's more in the Southeast. Oh, I just realized that is a Larvesta. Okay, I went for takedown. Never mind. I figured he was going to go for Bug Bite. That's why I got nervous just now, because if he went for Bug Bite on Dean, he probably could have killed me. Okay, interesting. Gligar and Sigilif. Wow. I'm surprised I one-shot Sigilif. I know I'm a pseudo, but I'm a mid-evo pseudo. I didn't think that was going to kill him. I'll take it. I'll fucking take it. I didn't think that Dark Pulse would kill. But yeah, like, both teams are fighting for their first cup. Like, I think I want Florida for the underdog story because I like to see the underdog succeed. But I don't know, man. I wouldn't be opposed to Vegas winning it. And now it's interesting because now I'm going to want to watch every game from this point forward because since the series now is 3-1, that means that yeah, since the series is now 3-1, that means if Vegas wins either Game 5 or Game 6 or Game 7, you know, they always have the chance of winning the cup, but Florida is now fighting off elimination, which they did against Boston, and it actually succeeded against Boston. So, I don't know, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I really hope that they do it. I would love to see that. I think that would make for a great just story whatsoever. So yeah, seeing as we have 6 minutes left of our challenge, I think it's safe to say we will not be taking on the gym in this episode, which is completely fine, by the way. I am completely okay with that because I did not get the chance to PK Hex in Le Mans that I said I would. But now it makes me wonder, do I want to PK Hex in... Or what do I want to add to my team? Do I want Mien Xiao, which is going to be fast and could hit pretty hard, or do I want excuse me, do I want Quilava I don't know. I just hope we don't get a stupid-ass challenge in the next episode. I really hope we don't. I don't need that to be the reason that I get screwed over. I've already fought through enough stuff in this game. Right. Splussel just went for dig. I'm curious to see how much this does to me. You know, considering I have an Eviolite, that is respectable. Damn. I'm surprised I one-shot, actually. I didn't think it would. Are you just gonna have a bunch of baby rats? Do you think... Does she have a Raichu? I don't think she does. I don't think she does. Lol. Went for the charm. You thought that would work. Dynamo. That freaks me out, because now that makes me think she's going to have an Electros. I really hope not. I also need this battle not to be a gimmick battle. Like, I need it to be a straight-up singles match, because if it's anything else, I don't know if I can handle that. I don't know if I can handle it being anything else other than a singles match. You know, like, yes, we had the death with the victory bell, but, like, I'm kind of surprised that with the amount of trainers that I did end up fighting, that my team is not over-leveled for this. I guess I do have a legendary and a couple pseudos, which those are harder to level up, so I suppose that makes a little bit of sense. I suppose that does make a little sense. Can you imagine if you get the lucky egg? Oh, we'd be rolling in it right now. Faint. Faint. Static? That's fine, because I do have Shed Skin. Electabuzz? See, you're making me think you have an Electivire. I feel like you do. And if you do, I am scared, because he is part fighting in this game. Let's go, Shed Skin gone. This man went for Light Screen twice. What a dummy. And like I said, I know she has Ampharos. I remember Ampharos vividly for whatever reason. And I feel like I remember Manectric as well. I remember those two very vividly, but I don't remember what the rest of her team is. I feel like she has Electros now that I saw that Dynamo in here. And if she does, I don't like that. And if she does, I don't like that. Because like I said, with Pokemon like Uncle Sam and Azumarill, we're more than likely not sending those Pokemon in. Oh. Well, we just got right into a battle right at the end here. Okay. Luxray. Do I have enough dig for this? Because I have no idea how much PP I have left. Oh, I have 3. Surely there's not that many more trainers. Maybe there is. If there is, I guess I won't complain. Magneton? Oh, I should have went into Cobalion, I think. Never mind, we flinched it. Do I think she's gonna have a Magneton? Pop off, Teresa! Pop off. That scared me. I thought I was powered dark already. I'm not. Dummy. I'm probably going into Cobalion after this. I'm not going into a special attacker. Aftermath. Ooh. Damn it, Jolteon would have been a perfect mon for me to try and get some more experience with. I feel like we just saw Jolteon in this gym, so it's kind of weird seeing it again. We outspeed a Jolteon? This is a Pokemon I completely forgot about. I guess I'm glad to be seeing it right now because that makes me think you don't have it on your team for the gym. Which I wouldn't be opposed. Lantern's a difficult mon to deal with anyways, but without a grass type or a ground type that I can't just have wall this thing. Damn, get that crit. I have the King's Rock, not a fucking scope lens on. Alright. But, since we did in fact complete our challenge for this episode, we get ourselves a reward, ladies and gentlemen. I just did not put up the right wheel. This is the one we need to put up. And then we can go here. Let's go ahead and see what our reward is for this video. That's diabolical. That means this gym might be a cakewalk. Because I can lose here, but deaths won't count, so it won't count against my life at all. And I gotta remember that. I gotta remember that for the next episode, which I'm recording immediately next anyways, but that's huge. Holy shit. Well, if you guys are hyped for the next episode, because I know I am, make sure you hit that like button down below because we greatly appreciate it. Next episode, we're going to be taking on the gym leader. And to be honest, it does not matter what fucking challenge we get. It does not matter what fucking challenge we get. I'm so happy about this. It still might be a hard gym fight, but I'm ready for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these Mons PK hexed into our game. Yeah, I'm fucking ecstatic. I'm over the moon about this. But if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit that like button down below because it'd be greatly appreciated. And yeah, next episode we're taking on the gym leader. Make sure you have that subscribe and click bell icon as well so you don't miss on any of the content going up on the channel. And yeah, I will see you guys next time.